Happy Wednesday! That means it's patch day. That means we have Storm Rising. Yeah. So, we want this scene. This is the new event. And we're going to be playing it today. I'm just waiting on friends to show up. In the meantime, we will quickly invite Curious and Jats and Sonic. Hey, they're all ready. That's how it's done. Let's open a loot box. Hi, Endersama. How you doing?
Oh my god, it's everyone.
Yes, we've got the whole group. It's gonna be amazing. How are you guys? And I mean literally you.
Good. Good after getting stuck in the rain.
Ah, yeah.
I'm alive.
That's good. Hi, Dextraction. How you doing? Hope your day's going well. I haven't tested my alerts, so let me quickly... Sorry, Darren. It is max 4 for the event, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how the chat on stream has not updated to reflect the fact that people have spoken. That's fine. Okay. Mission archives. So we're going to do Storm Rising co-op. Do you want to start on normal or go with hard straight up?
How hard can it be?
True.
I played on normal all morning, so...
So we're going to blow your mind.
Ah, the new map. At least I hope it's a new map.
Yeah,
Years
it's
ago.
a new map that'll be coming out soon.
I love it.
It's really colourful.
I know, right? I hope it's actually storming on the map.
Tracer, status report.
Target in sight, Captain.
We've waited a long time for Maximilian to show his face. It's now or never.
No pressure then. I've got some new friends.
You're clear to engage. Strike team, move in and take out Maximilian's cover.
Go ahead. We're going to have guests.
Hello, Jakes. Ah, he's getting away.
This will get a lot harder if he reaches his safe house.
Then let's make sure he doesn't.
Yay!
See, why can't you do that as Mercy?
Winston.
I'm on it.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. It's like, she's so badass here. Why can't she actually
Only
be?
lead on talent.
I'm not the one you should worry about.
Genji's show.
Yeah, right?
He's gone.
Don't worry, he won't get far on foot.
Don't get cocky. That storm is getting close, and Maximilian is as resourceful as they get. I trust you.
Hey, so who's the
Try not to
leader?
blow up anything else.
Ha! No promises.
Me, bitch. Tracer.
No, I mean the voice.
I don't... No! Curious! Not allowed. That is not allowed.
Get wrecked.
Get time.
Not allowed.
I was gonna say, are you really gonna try and have a standoff for Curious about something like this? She is way too stubborn to give in.
I have the fastest.
Loaded in faster than I did.
We'll just take
I'm
turns.
isolating Maximilian's position.
Yeah, I'm good to play.
Yeah, it's usually what we do.
Genji next.
Understood, Captain.
Ah, so that's what it is, Soldier.
Let's get
I don't know who the hell that is.
New character.
Oh god, I need to remember how to play this game.
Did they forget subtitles again?
We found Maximilian.
Come, children.
Oh no, there they are. They just didn't show up during the cutscenes.
Which is good.
I'm already gonna be up all night writing the report for this one.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so Sojourn is not going to be one of the next 2 new heroes, but apparently there's a lot more story to develop for her.
Here. I mean, they never brought out that Junker Queen.
Yeah, they have big plans for her apparently. Hello.
I love that they roll away.
Sonic, do you want to come to the window?
So, does it seem like Maximilian had more muscle with him than we were expecting?
Ever since this new Doomfist appeared on the scene, he's been taking a more active hand in Talon's business. I'm guessing that has something to do with it.
I am liking this map though.
Keep your eyes out for the sniper.
This will protect us. Survival of the fittest.
Oh, nice. Guys. Thank you. Yes, and a summer. They have a story mode that's only open once a year, and this is the 3rd story event for the archives. Unfortunately, they're only open for a couple weeks a year, and it's really disappointing. Ooh, I like this. Giant warehouse? Yes, please.
Don Rumbotico.
Oh, jeez.
What was that? Sojourn? Ugh, Link's down.
I assume this door opens.
No.
No?
Incorrect.
This door opens. Yeah, the story mode is only open for 2 weeks in April/May. No, actually, this one's going to be 3 weeks.
Oh. I'm gonna die.
Oh no.
That was wild.
Yeah.
That'll be a bitch to deal with on Legendary.
He just deals with the money. Intelligence thinks he'll be motivated to negotiate.
Yeah, what does that mean?
He'll talk.
Gouge out his eyeballs. I'll talk.
I haven't had a reason to ult yet.
That's teamwork.
Be careful. They've dispatched a sniper. Sniper engaging. Sniper neutralized.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
What do you think will happen happen if we can't get Max?
They've been threatening to reassign the entire operation.
Morrison and Race have been arguing about it quite a bit lately.
What about the
Foreshadowing.
Mmm.
The line for us too.
Wow. Oh shit.
Welcome to my office.
That's teamwork.
Jets. No, where are you going?
Sorry.
Welcome to my office.
Oh.
Our enemy's over here.
Yeah, I gotcha. Hi, Void Division. How you doing? We're just playing the new event. Starting on hard, you know, the right way. So this event is basically the yearly story mode. Each year they expand on the lore a very, very tiny bit with a 3-week event where you can play through
We're back
a
online. Is everyone all right?
very, very short campaign.
Give me some good news.
We've tracked Max to the seaford. You're gonna need something to blow the doors.
How
Pretty
about
much this event trumps anything else you can do in this game.
That would work.
Oh.
There's a truck with explosives just lying around.
Yep.
sure is?
Love that.
Proceed.
Ooh.
Max showing himself now. He ran a tight shitting tour, and now he's getting sloppy.
I love this so much.
You
I hope
know
this
how
happens
Doom
in the actual map.
shaking
Like,
up
I'm
the
guessing
talent
this would be a
hierarchy.
bloody
They
hybrid.
started to make some mistakes
Yeah.
because of it.
And I hope that after you unlock
Not
the
unless
payload,
we
it does
catch
go
it.
all stormy like this. It'll be a nice change.
Watch that sky.
Watch this guy.
Barrier activated. Coming through.
Ooh. That guy hit me in the face. I missed.
I was wondering where you're jumping to.
Barrier up.
Hostile forces incoming. Keep your eyes out for the snipers. Sniper up ahead.
I noticed that the AI are a little bit more dynamic with some of their moves.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm glad. Oi. Nice shot.
This will protect us.
Thank you. Someone is hunting us.
Barrier up.
Oh, they've got an assassin.
Rishi shot me last time.
No, 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 no.
Feel so attacked.
Serves you right for playing Tracer first round.
Hey, I was trying to alter it, so I didn't move out of the way.
Ah. Makes sense.
This will protect us.
Yeah, this is definitely a hybrid map.
Thanks.
Which the last Archives map was Rialto, and that turned out to be a payload map.
Hurry it up, team. Clear out the area.
And we played it in reverse for the actual event, right?
I don't know, that was like a year
I
ago.
don't remember.
That's alright, we'll play that one next.
Damage output increased. Barrier up. Pardon.
I'm here.
So Andasama, basically the way they've done it with the past two events, so this one and the last one, is it's a way to introduce the map in a unique way.
Sniper neutralized.
And it allows them to reuse the map that they create for the event which makes it feel unique for the times you play it during the event, and then turn it into a real map you play permanently. That was fun.
Oh no.
Ow.
Jesus Christ.
He's got quite some shields on him.
Yes.
Survival of
Hey, I got the kill for that.
I'm surprised the pulse one
That's
didn't
it
kill
for
him.
Talon. Someone arm that truck and get those doors.
He had a lot of health.
special
Yes.
delivery.
Run me over.
Whoa! What was that?
The truck full of explosives.
Yeah, but it shot me really far back.
Going somewhere,
Same.
Max.
Because we're not allowed to die.
Is this really necessary? Surely we can make some kind of deal.
You are in no position to negotiate.
You're coming with us.
We know all about you and your associates.
Oh, I have many associates. Perhaps it's not clear what I have to offer. My resources are quite substantial. Let me ask, what might you be in the market for?
An introduction.
Ah, and who is it you would like to meet?
My friend, the world doesn't understand visionaries like us. I respect what you are trying to accomplish. You fight for your kind. It's noble and doomed to fail. But with Talon's
Doomed.
help,
Mm.
that can change.
You have my attention.
Yo, who the fuck is this dude?
No idea.
I don't know,
Wait,
they
was
don't
that
give us
Doomfist?
titles.
Yes,
Guy
that
in the
was
suit?
Doomfist.
Yes. It is good to see that they're making cinematics and giving a lot more voice acting to everyone without making animated shorts.
Yeah. But still, animated shorts are pretty good.
I mean that
Love me some
opening,
animation.
that bloody opening cutscene in a full proper animated short would be awesome.
True.
Oh,
Okay.
food boxes.
So now we're going to play one round of Retribution, one round of Uprising, and then we'll do a bunch of Storm Rising. Because clearly you guys don't remember what happened.
They don't. That's for sure.
And I'll probably forget 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I mean, it's only around once a year.
The Halloween one's still better than everything else.
An Overwatch facility
remember.
was attacked.
I don't remember
The
the other
team
one as well.
needed to respond,
Ooh, McCree.
but officially,
What a snack.
their hands were tied. Luckily, Blackwatch plays by its own rules.
Wait, was Storm
See, now
one
all-
before this?
It
Um,
goes
We all knew
Uprising,
he was
Retribution, and
responsible.
then Storm.
Yeah.
But like
Gen-
Genji's
Yeah.
got all.
Brother had it, he'd be well protected.
Yeah, that's why it's before this. Genji only got all
Our
like
mission
proper
was to
robot-y
drop in,
pretty much towards the
Get him
tail
out
end of
so we
Overwatch
can
or after
face the
Overwatch already
music.
disbanded. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is when he was part of Blackwatch.
at least.
This
Oh,
is
that's
when
right.
he was
Sorry,
in
I forgot what
recovery.
he looked like.
Supposed to go.
Good evening, Commander Ray.
Also, anytime I'm hearing McCree talk, I'm just imagining Mercer sitting behind a table.
I know.
With his setup.
Even if you take me now,
What?
my friends would have me released within the week.
McCree's
That's why you're gonna
voice.
die.
Theatrics have been a waste of our time.
You're right. Reyes, what did you do? This was not the plan.
Genji's just reaching for a sword.
With Plan B.
Genji's
I like
just
how
so
Moira
chill
just
about
doesn't.
it. Yeah, him and bloody Genji and Moira are just like, this shit again.
Pretty much.
Hell yeah, Reaper.
I thought we were agreed, Commander. Snatch and grab. That's it. Antonio, you want something
I mean,
done
he's
right.
easier to snatch
Breach
now
in
that he's dead, though.
progress. Everyone gets settled in.
Yeah.
Good thing we're not in any hurry.
Thought he was just injured.
I'm your huckleberry. Get ready.
Genji, don't sit down. Get up. Is this one hard as well?
Yeah.
Repairing the damage.
Nice.
I mean, we can coordinate well enough.
To repair the damage.
How are you gonna explain this to the strike commander? You let me
He fell
worry
out the
about what
window.
Jack needs to know. You know you can't shoot him. I don't know, but I could shoot you.
Touch from afar.
Ripper.
What I do like is this is one room that you don't actually have access to in the regular mode for this map.
Wait, we don't?
My will made real.
I don't know. Apparently.
Oh yeah, no, we wouldn't, would we?
I will draw the strength from your body.
We're making progress on the door. How's everyone doing?
Making progress, it's like millimeters away.
Grand here.
They're coming from the ceiling!
Oh, help me! You seem in need of aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Breaching now! Get ready! About damn time!
Everyone
Damn it,
through the
I wasn't
breach. We're
emoting.
getting out of here.
So you'll notice this is the final checkpoint of the regular Rialto map. But at night.
Injured again.
Yeah, usually off to the left then.
Snip.
Yeah.
Stay out of her sights!
So the final checkpoint is through these doors here.
Back at you. Sniper eliminated.
I was about to mimic that, but then I was like, the house is asleep.
Yeah. It's as though the whole city has been mobilized against us. Just how you like. Skip incoming.
Who's incoming?
Sniper on our radar.
Sniper.
Apparently you can block a shot from the
Pass
hole.
this force.
Buckle up, enemies engaging.
Stealth has long since been an impossibility.
We got ourselves a good old-fashioned shootout on our hands.
And this door is normally open.
This will heal you. I will draw
That's
the
usually
strength
pops up
from
on
your
the You're on the bridge or up there?
Feels like Talon is mobilizing an entire army to stop us.
I made a guy drop through the... I made a guy freaking glitch through the wall.
Surrender to my will.
Hey, where's the assassin usually pop up? I can't remember.
On the wall through here.
Try that.
This
Come on.
one's mine.
Oh, which?
Repairing the damage.
Keep losing him.
Your power is mine.
Assassin dead.
This is my will.
Clearing. What's your status, pilot?
Finding a way to slip into the city? Next time, make my life
Are we meant to be? I know. I'm very confused.
The guy.
Trust me.
Sorry, you had to say it, didn't you? I withdraw my previous comment.
Jats, no! Oh no!
Wait, what did you? Oh, god damn it!
Oh no! It's been too long.
I just forgot how much damage he did.
Yeah.
Thank
Does it have
you.
to stand in the circle?
Yep.
This will restore you.
Oh my god, he does.
Your body decays.
Hold on.
Clearing the area.
Get back here, you whore!
Heavy's out of the picture.
Picked up some company on the way in. I'm gonna try to shake them, but it might take a little while.
No problem. We're used to waiting around and getting shot at. And getting shot at.
You two are adorable. My will made real.
I'm the only one who feels hungry.
There could be an unforeseen side effect.
I was making a joke.
Where is it? Oh,
This will improve your condition.
I found it.
Allow me
Yeah.
to repair the damage.
Have fun in there?
Assassin eliminated.
And then secret room.
Philistines.
Rame.
Hey. Moving on.
We're at the extraction point. Where are you?
I'm just entering Venice airspace. It shouldn't be much longer.
If you're not coming soon, you may as well turn around. Whoa, don't listen to him. We're getting out of here.
Moving on. I'm your huckleberry. I'm your huckleberry. I'm your huckleberry.
This was a triumph. The power of destruction. Regenerating the cellular structure.
Eat my dick.
That works.
Arios.
Would you like to know the specials?
Keep your eyes open. There's an assassin here.
Touch from afar.
Where's she?
Nope. Don't touch me.
Oh my god, I jumped on top of her.
Surrender to my will.
Where the fuck did you go?
Assassin's dead.
There's the big boy.
This is your fault, Commander. We had plans. We could have walked Antonio right out of the city. I didn't sign
Really
up
not
for
my
this.
fault.
They're dropping in reinforcements.
My will made real. Your strength fades.
I forgot that they drop up there.
Your injuries are fascinating.
I hit 8 steps.
Strength flows from
Nice.
Hold up.
Shahema Hol.
What's keeping our ride? Can't wait forever. Something
I
tells
mean, yeah,
me
we
the army
can.
of bad guys converging on our position isn't helping.
McCree's instincts are, as ever, unimpeachable.
Watch the sky.
Your body decays.
I don't like Reaper's alt voice.
Good.
In that. Clearing the area.
They've got a sniper. Oh,
He's just real smooth, you know?
This
Sniper's
is
not
my
our
will.
concern anymore.
Alrighty, War Division, thanks for hanging out. Have fun at the gym.
Like tougher than
Ow!
McCree's down.
Oh no.
Yeah, nah, he decided to target me and not the 3 people, like, trying to shove stuff in his face.
Shahema Hol. Surrender to my will.
Clearing the area.
Heavy is
How
no
dare
longer
you.
our
Commander,
concern.
I have visual on your position. I'm coming in for a landing, but it's gonna be a little hot.
Everyone, get ready to get on
I see.
board.
I mean, she says she has visual, but where the hell is she?
Right there.
Oh, there. How could she have visual from that angle?
She didn't.
Cameras.
It's a lie.
This is it. Don't do anything stupid.
I'm not dying to that heavy
Clearly
again.
have that covered.
Ebbs.
Doors are open.
Come on, Curious.
We can get out of here.
But I want most kills.
I'm not finished with you yet. Past time.
Oh god, I got knocked off. Oh no, there's another one.
Oh, God, what the hell? Like, I didn't realize they could still shoot me while I was in here.
Still required.
Bye.
Hey, I got an achievement, though. I was still on the dropship.
He's unconscious on the dropship.
Our target.
I love this game.
So, I guess he got what was coming to him. Still, it didn't seem right. But that wasn't the end of our problems. For the first time, people knew we were out there. New faces stepped up to fill the void in Talon. And I can't help but wonder if that's where it all started to go wrong.
He was just having a bad day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at 8,920 damage.
Hey, 2 eliminations more than Curious.
I'm very displeased.
Anna took the least amount of damage.
I took the most amount of damage. I always do. It's unavoidable.
And now... Tracer's first mission.
Strike team en route to King's Row.
This one will always be the best one.
Against the Omnics. We were no closer
No.
to living together in peace. The building of a new home for the Omnics in London was supposed to be the first step in improving human-robot relations. But it never had a chance. The Omnic extremist group, Null Sector, launched a surprise attack on King's Row. Hundreds were killed, and thousands more were displaced as they took control. Now, they are hunting down the last of the survivors. It could be the beginning of a new war between humans and Omnics. Unless we can stop them. Commander Morrison has sent our strike team to liberate the city. It's my first mission, and the only way to save my home. I hope we're not too late.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
This is Morrison.
Right.
Here's your chance, Tracer. Show me what you can do.
What the fuck, guys?
Just come home safe. Null Sector has 3 anti-aircraft guns in King's Row. They need to be disabled before we can drop the payload. You each have a portable drone which can be used to hack the air defense terminals.
This is Captain Amari. The first air defense node is right around the corner. And Reinhardt, don't charge in there on your own.
What do you mean?
Beginning the hack. Stay near the terminal while it's in progress.
Team, Null Sector approaching your position.
Here we go.
Daytime King's Row.
A curse.
The best.
A curse.
The kinds of little details they used to add into the game, like in this case the Null Sector robot's getting confused when Tracer used her blink because this was the first time she was on a mission and her tech was shown to Null Sector.
Don't have laces.
Wait, my shoes don't have laces.
Mine do.
I don't have shoes. Never worn them in my life.
They're done!
A new energy signature up ahead. Looks like a new Omni.
Just what the world needs.
I'm gonna fuck it up.
Hack underway. The guns should be coming down shortly. Significant Omnic presence closing in on your position.
Keep your turret up! Everyone else, good hunting!
Oh my god.
This is gonna be so much easier because I can throw his turret in new spots now.
Yeah. That's the downside of them reworking heroes. It ruins events like this.
I was gonna say, I wish when they did these events, it like defaulted to what the old.
All directions.
Agreed. Should be like a time capsule.
Yeah. Because that would make huge res back.
Right.
Well, I was killing that curious.
Don't know what you mean.
I miss just hiding for like the whole game and then coming out.
Detecting significant null sector troops headed in your direction.
I need to contact my friends who aren't good at shooters or don't like shooters to join me for this event.
Oh, it's a free weekend this weekend, eh?
Yeah, it is.
It's a long weekend too, which is nice.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it'll be easier to pull them together. To the 23rd.
Dropship is en route to the
dropship incoming.
I wonder if they fixed the I think they did. Where if you shot to the right, the bullets were slightly off.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I used to play as Bastion a lot in this map.
Yeah.
Great things for you. Show them what you can do.
Proceed to the courtyard. The payload is waiting for you.
Oh. Here we go.
Payload online. Initiating startup sequence. It's going to need a few minutes to get charged up.
You really think that's gonna work?
I built it. Of course it's going to work.
Inspires confidence, doesn't he?
Null sector forces are inbound to your position.
Watch out for those slices. They aren't too strong, but they tear up the payload.
Keep them off the payload! I can't do any repairs to it here. It's got to stay in one piece until we get to the door. Sending out the welcome map.
There's one with a shield up the top.
Yeah, I see him. Ah, he wasn't standing close enough.
So it's ready to move out.
Not quite yet.
I should know. Team, get ready for another wave of attacks.
Ow.
Much obliged.
I forgot Ryan could nudge it away.
I think that was a little bit more than a
Then have they
nudge.
spawned up there?
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, he did.
are they coming from?
Everywhere. The one thing is you can't ult to make your turret stronger.
No, I kind of do miss that.
As we were saying, time capsule.
What was that song?
Seems like we hit another little snag.
Define little snag.
Forget about it! Defend the payload! It just needs a little more support.
Oh yeah, bastions.
It's done with therapy.
Yep, and they hurt.
I mean, I may not have awesome turrets, but I do have lava.
True, but you didn't throw any of it at that bastion right there.
I honestly thought Curious killed it with a charge.
Ah. Nope, just pushed it away.
The bastions are stronger than that in this one.
Yeah, forget about that.
Wait for it.
Oof. Thank you, Jets. I almost died.
Generators are green.
I've been there.
Systems are waking up. Just a little bit longer.
This is pretty bad design considering it takes like 5 minutes to fucking start off.
Yeah, right?
Let's make sure the payload doesn't get blown up before we get through the door.
I mean, at the same time, 5 minutes is not bad compared to what it really could be.
This is true, but isn't Torbjorn like meant to be a master builder or something?
Supposed to be, yeah.
Wasn't he in the
That's
Lego
why it's so funny that it takes so long.
Wasn't he in the Lego? Did you say was Torbjorn in the Lego movie?
Oh, he's a
Is that what
master
you
builder.
said?
Wait.
Holy crap, that
is
bastion
two
hurts.
unknown- Wait, was that two unknowns?
I just wanted to make sure I heard you right.
Okay. I was gonna say, I thought it was just, you know...
Payload's ready to move.
Oh, I thought it was gonna explode.
Escort the payload to the
Just say, I
power
thought
station.
everyone, like,
Once
just
you're there,
unanimously
well,
loved the Lego
it's
movie.
up to Torbjorn. Good job, team. Handing you over to Commander Reyes.
Everything is
Amaria.
exam.
Except for that bit.
Reyes here. Latest Blackwatch intelligence indicates heavy null sector numbers inside the power station. Expect null troopers, eradicators, bastions, and some OR-14s.
I love the way he says bastions.
Keep them off the payload! I can't do any repairs to it here. It's got to stay in one piece until we get to the door.
Right, just hope that's not yours. Oh, did they fix the glitch?
They might have, yeah.
It's probably
Oh, where you
too late
could run
to
ahead
do it
and...
now. Yeah. Probably too late to do it now, but we'll...
Yeah, where you run ahead and none of them spawn. Those were the days.
I think you've got to do it before the payload
That's
really
gonna-
stops moving.
Could I hit the...
Payload's taking a beating.
Oh.
Come on, we don't want it to blow before we get to the power plant.
Setting out the welcome blast.
The payload's under fire.
Help, help, help. Oh god.
It's okay, we got this.
How'd you not charge that then? No!
You almost killed it too!
It bounced away, okay. Oh, it's going around the front!
I got it!
How fucking dare you?
I don't have it!
Guys,
Oh god.
there's like 15 little things on the...
Okay, I'm coming.
Talk about us being rusty, jeez.
Should we be standing further away?
Maybe behind my shield.
We lost a little seasoning.
Get that door open. Now. Energy levels are peaking.
Understood.
Hey!
Power surge inside the plant. Take out the remaining null sector units. Focus on the
Wow,
other
I go to
14.
charge the
They're your
bastion and
primary
miss
targets.
completely.
Heroes never die.
Move to the next target.
We're not done yet. Smashing.
And the bastion comes in behind us, remember that too.
Chris, you gotta put your shit.
Oh no.
Gotta kill the person.
Let's try that again.
I do appreciate the Bastions are too stupid to move out of the lava.
It's because they weren't designed for that mechanic.
I know.
I'm hit.
I'm not very good at this.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Not doing so well.
Oh no.
Good air shot.
How did it get me?
It's Bastion. Of course it got you.
I thought that last bit was actually quite challenging.
Rip.
Anyway, storm rising.
Yeah. We're gonna open some loot boxes first though. Oh, and Capture the Flag is currently in the arcade. I need this to be my new wallpaper.
Somebody fetch my butler.
Ash has a great new voice line.
What is it?
Somebody fetch my butler.
Somebody fetch my butler. It's so good. A legendary, and it's not event related. Damn.
Ready to learn. You are not ready to learn.
Ooh. I like this victory pose for Zenyatta.
Just upset Anna didn't get anything.
She did at least hopefully get a voice line or two, right?
No, she got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I hate it when they do that.
That was the first thing I checked.
Ooh. Sombra's new victory pose, though.
Oh
I
no.
ain't gathering no moss.
Then again, Tracer didn't get anything either.
New victory
Wait,
pose for Widowmaker. Also really good.
I got that one.
Alright, let's see. What's new?
Why don't I
I
just
forgot they have a button.
still don't have the Talon skin.
Literally,
Guardian
Tracer
done
didn't get
dirty.
any voice lines, and Anna, and like half the roster. Jeez.
Yeah, didn't get anything, not even a spray.
What's worse though? Not getting anything or getting a skin like Zarya's?
Yeah.
It's literally just her thing with different hair.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, I haven't seen Zarya's.
That's pretty much purple skins for you.
Shiro?
Racer.
Sorry, I got a Shiro skin.
I need that Moira skin. Like yesterday.
Actually, yeah, curious. I get what you mean now that I relook at the skin.
And the scar is just in the wrong place.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I've got all 3 victory poses. Without spending any credits.
You are not ready to learn.
Som man bäddar får man ligga.
Brigitte gets 1 voice line, not in English.
Cool.
I'd like to say it was
Ooh,
nice
this
working
deadlock
with
skin.
you, but it wasn't.
Hell yeah.
Sombra's new voice line is great.
I put my faith in science.
History was forged by the sword.
Hanzo's is pretty good too.
Mind your manners.
I don't really do associates.
I have the distinct feeling that I'm needed somewhere.
Mercy's voice line is really good.
I learned that from
I
my
like
mother.
the laughter, Hammond one.
Laughter.
That's great.
Translation not found.
Oh my god. The Hammond highlight intro. The one that's called Dramatic. But with the new skin for Hammond. The high roller one. He's got little glasses that are resting on his nose. And they fall off.
Yeah, and guess what I have? Both that skin and the highlight intro.
If you don't have both of the things that I just mentioned, take a look at my stream. It's amazing.
Hold on, I need to pull this up. That's
I
like
totally
the best.
forgot that there's a new hero. I guess he's not really new anymore, is he?
Batiste? No, he's like a month and a half old.
Yeah, I kind of forgot
Batiti.
about that.
Golden Cuba, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow.
Wait, hold
welcome
on,
to
I'm
the
just
order.
pulling up your stream so I can see the Hammond thing.
It's so good. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
That's honestly amazing. Like, they just slowly fall off.
Oh, man. Alright, we ready for more co-op? Alright, we ready for more co-op?
Yes.
We should do all heroes.
I'm glad to hear it, Golden Cuba.
Okay, which one of you?
Haha!
I wasn't gonna play Tracer. But I'll let you have it.
Now, Jats, why doesn't that surprise me?
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's position.
I was
have it
seeing
in a
what
few
Sonic was
seconds.
gonna do and he didn't do
Understood,
anything.
Captain. Team, let's get out there.
We found
I love the tiny door.
Robotico distillery. Try and keep the damage to a minimum. I'm already gonna be up all night writing the report for this one.
Sorry.
Well, thank you, Golden Cuba. You're pretty good too.
Prepare for further engagement. Reinforcements flying in. I could use some assist. Much obliged. Now, where were we? Must be hard for us to gather intel with Blackwatch sidelined.
I wouldn't know.
Don't you talk to your old team.
So, yeah, this is definitely after the Blackwatch mission.
We lost track of Max when we got inside. They've sealed the place up tight and our satellites are blind. Be ready for anything.
More surprises. Lovely.
Snipers on you!
We need to do something about that sniper.
We're outside the distillery, Captain.
Clear out the building and find Max. I'm opening the doors now. Stay on your toes.
Prepare for the worst.
For a second there, I didn't know Princeton had toes.
That's the spirit.
Pardon me. This will protect
Doesn't he have hands?
Heroes never die.
Bless.
There was just a trooper following you. It was great.
Much obliged. What was that? Sojourn?
Crackle.
Ugh, links down.
You needed a doctor.
Team, get ready to engage.
Shut up, Trace.
Hostile forces incoming. Assassin detected.
Wait, right on target.
Bacon.
She's on ya.
I can be.
Well, you're the biggest threat, so...
Well, I just happened to get in the way.
It's chasing me! Is it dead?
Yeah, Curious got it.
What is capturing Maximilian going to achieve?
He's our first town lead since Venice.
And whose fault was that?
I had nothing to do with it.
You were there, weren't you?
I was a bystander.
I was a bystander!
I do like Genji.
I just love that they change the voice lines slightly every time you play.
We've got company.
Yeah. Until you play it through a million times and really you've been listening to the same 15 voice lines.
Yeah.
Bury it up.
Sniper engaging.
Sniper.
No, no, he's funny.
Killing things.
Chase us down. Someone revive us.
Biz, no. I'm about to die.
Sniper eliminated.
I know, I'm slightly AFK. I realized one of my overlays wasn't working.
Nice save. Do you think Maximilian will talk?
He just deals with the money. Intelligence thinks he'll be motivated to negotiate.
Yeah, what does that mean?
He'll talk.
Pretty much they're gonna pay him out. I like how the smoke goes down, but really these guys just like appear out of the
Heavy assault in.
Yeah, people were talking about that on Reddit. They said that, well, most of them spawn next to a door, but you don't see the door open, they just appear by the smoke. Oh, jeez.
I'm hit.
I know.
Oh, okay, apparently he's got really, really good tracking.
Nailed it. Just in time.
That should help.
Come on. It's like time to get.
He's still not dead?
Yeah, he is.
I thought you guys had it under control, so I went for the next guy.
Yeah, well, I dashed through him when he had really low health, and I thought I was good, but apparently not.
We're back online. Is everyone
I
all
definitely
right?
had it under control. I don't know about
give me
you.
some good news.
We've tracked Max to the seafort. You're gonna need something to blow the doors.
How about a truck filled with explosives?
That would work.
Then we're all set.
There's a truck with explosives just lying around.
Sure is.
Well then, proceed.
It would have been cool if she just
You
said
ran a
yep
tight ship before.
instead of
Yep.
I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why. It just feels like it'd be more satisfying coming from Tracer.
Yeah, it would.
They've started to make some mistakes because of it.
Good for us then.
Not unless we catch him.
I love how the trees are shaking as well.
Oh! I didn't realize I only had 11 health.
Enemy dropship incoming.
Let's get you back.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Our teammate needs to be revived.
This poor guy. Their death animation is weird.
Much obliged. Oh, they've got a sniper. Yeah. Thomas, you need a timeout. Boom. Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
I'm loving the music on this map too.
There's music?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're kind of jungle.
For this part, yeah.
Assassin.
Oh no, not assassin.
Yeah, I'm staying away from her.
For good reason.
I hope she gets you.
No, no.
Let's get these back in the fight. Heroes never die.
Oh god, she's still around. Oh, piss off.
It's okay.
She kind of reminds me of Val. Oh wait, you guys probably won't actually understand that reference.
Look at you just then.
Captain.
Max is getting ready to take off. Time to hurry it up, team. Clear out
I'm
the
waiting for the
area
sniper
and blow
that
the
appears.
door.
Talon troops incoming.
Get ready. The dragon becomes me.
Enemy dropship incoming.
I like how they don't even use ropes or anything to jump out of the ship. They just jump.
They don't need those.
Sniper engaging.
Sniper.
Sniper's on you.
Let's try that again.
I just realized that she sounds almost exactly like Widow when she
Sniper
uses the
eliminated.
grappling.
Oh, they've got a sniper.
Yeah.
Sniper engaging.
I mean, they're just reusing most of the
Ever get that feeling?
models and voices.
Watch out for the big guy. He's right on target. Wait, gotcha! Heavy eliminated.
But I'm still here.
Area secure.
That's it for Talon. Someone arm that truck and get those doors open.
Get to cover!
How embarrassing.
Are you under the truck? Are you under the truck?
Yeah, I was sort of wedged into the front of him.
The way the truck gets pushed forward though is amazing. It's got little rocket boosters.
Going somewhere, Max?
Is this really necessary?
Yes.
Surely we can make some kind
I like
of
this
deal.
guy because he just gives
no
zero
position
fucks
to
and he just wants to
negotiate.
get on with his day.
You're coming with us.
Here, we're just a minor inconvenience.
You and your
Yeah,
associates.
pretty much.
Oh, I have many associates. Perhaps it's not clear what I have to offer. My resources are quite substantial. Let me ask, what might you be in the market for?
An introduction.
Ah, and who is it you would like to meet?
I want to touch her face.
My friend, the world.
That's not
doesn't
creepy at all.
understand these
Yeah.
things like us. I respect what you are trying to accomplish. You fight for your kind.
Fuck you, Doomfist.
Wow, racist, cut off the black guy.
Who said he was black in real life?
Have you not seen his voice actor?
No. No, I have
Black.
not. That's not my problem.
Wow, racist thinking being black is a problem?
Doubt. We should play all heroes now.
I have a loot box.
Yeah, let's do all heroes.
I just really want to play Hammond.
Huh, I got Moira's skin.
No, you bastard. So
I-
casually.
You know me, I don't like Moira.
I got a sweaty bunny.
Why would you get a sweaty bunny?
As a
Oh, I
player
had.
icon.
Yeah, I have that too. Also, I got a Brigitte
See it?
voice line. Yes.
Hmm. I forgot to look at new player icons. That's not a lot of new player icons. I see 3. Alright, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh shit, wait. No, I do have the skin equipped.
It's just, who do I want to be for this?
Whoever you like. Ooh.
Ashley's real good into these ones.
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's position. I'll have it in a few seconds. Maximilian's at the Don Rombatico distillery. Marking the position for you.
Enemies detected.
So yeah, listen to the music a bit.
I don't have music, I think I might turn it off.
How could you?
Where is everything?
We lost track of Max once he got inside. inside. They've sealed the place up tight and our satellites are blind. Be ready for anything.
That looked brutal.
Did anybody else just have 3 of them that glitched out?
Yep, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Clear out the building and find Max. I'm opening the doors now. Stay on your toes.
أهلا. ازيك؟ Feeling sleepy?
You need a timeout.
Go. I keep you healed. Something's happening. They've locked down the distillery. Hang tight while I get you a way out. I show multiple Talon units converging on your position. Here they come!
There's an assassin!
Oh my god. Stop moving.
Oh, come on!
Ever get that feeling, deja vu?
We got you.
I've completely forgotten how to play this game.
Even with our practice the other day.
Where were we?
Yes. Did they give voice lines to everybody?
Heals, please.
Wait, gotcha! Keep your eyes out for the sniper.
Sniper detected.
Just time.
Oh.
Take her out!
I need a doctor. Now? Don't be so dramatic. You'll find.
I need a doctor now! Don't be so dramatic.
Let's try that again.
Watching your back.
My head is falling off.
Ah, I miss Arnold. Hey, cool, I can sleep him. Awesome.
I threw that way too far.
Yeah, but you got a couple of troopers over here.
Right on target. Now, where were we? Heavy eliminated.
Easy.
It looks like Max has barricaded himself in a sea fort. There's a truck with explosives near your position. You're gonna need them to get inside.
Let's get the payload moving.
Interesting. So in the all heroes mode, Sojourn knows that there's a truck with explosives, rather than Tracer being like, "Hey, by the way."
Ooh.
Time is on my side. Here it comes.
Come on, ship, drop all those guys on my bombs.
Enemy targets coming at us. Healing enough. Watch out for the sniper. Sniper's over there.
Where?
my god, it takes me 3 years to reload.
I know. It's one of the reasons I don't play Ash as much as I'd like to.
I have your back.
Watch out for that assassin! Nailed it!
Where is she?
Somewhere.
Nano boost administered.
It was an early nano boost.
I couldn't get enough healing because I needed to reload.
We could have back in like 2 seconds anyway.
You're going to
This part of the map reminds me a bit of one of the Assassin's Creed games. Not sure why.
Oh yeah, it does, the castle.
Good work.
Something,
Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Here comes more of us! Get in there, Bob!
I slept the guy on the ship. The ship's
He
just
won't
not-
be coming back.
The ship left with the guy on it. Oh, that's great.
Nice shot with the fire, by the way.
Watch out for the sniper.
I like how the sniper pulls out a pistol on me when I get close.
Oh, sorry.
4 snipers? Jeez. They clearly don't have much confidence in their snipers anymore.
Come on, bitch, move around, I dare you.
All enemies eliminated. Get that truck going.
God damn.
It's taken care of.
How did you
Yes, yes.
deploy your line twice? How did you get your ult that quickly?
I was shooting him in the nuts.
And a
That's
nano
how.
boost help with that as well.
Oh yeah.
See him.
That damage though, curious. Jeez. 10,000.
I know.
So from what I can gather, pretty much only the assassin did some damage to me.
Hmm.
I like it.
I took literally all the damage.
I'm gonna duck out for like 10 minutes because I just need to make some food.
Alrighty.
I'll be back soon.
Sounds good.
Which I'm probably gonna follow suit and go drill a smoke. I'll be back.
Everyone's left us.
Yeah.
Who knows what the future holds?
I'm just opening loot boxes.
I'd like to say it was nice working with you, but it wasn't.
Okay. All heroes?
Hell yeah.
My phone just buzzed behind me and I'm not sure why.
Magic. I wonder if Farah's good on this map.
Oh, she would be.
How dare you?
It's payback.
Wait, why did I pick it? I'm bad at that.
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's position. I'll have it in a few seconds. Maximilian's in the
Kaboom.
Don Rombatico distillery. Marking the position for you.
The other benefit of playing Farah, whole new perspective on this map. Biggest downside, we don't have a healer.
Someone get her back up. I'm really hurt here.
That's a good point, actually.
Hmm.
I'm not done yet.
No one can hide from my sight. You lost track of Max once he got inside. They've sealed the place up tight and our satellites are blind. Be ready for anything.
Ah.
Got you.
I got too close to the enforcer, that was my fault.
Enemy dropship incoming. Fire in the hole. I'm back.
Oh god. I'm gonna die again. I have 4 health.
I got the assassin. Nothing to worry about. Clear out the building and
This was a
find
mistake.
Max.
We need a healer.
I'm opening the doors now. Stay on your toes.
There's a guy around the corner.
So this is definitely a payload checkpoint, by the way. I had 4 health. There was nothing I was going to be able to do about that.
I had more than 4 health. Wait, no, I didn't.
And Roadhog's not healing himself. I don't understand.
Ow, you wound.
At least we get res to full health, you know?
Just won't be getting that achievement, but that's okay.
Something's happening.
Oh, to do something.
They've locked down the distillery. Hang tight while I get you a way out. I show multiple talent.
I mean, we could just shoot through one of the windows, really.
Get in there, Bob.
Go, Bobby boy.
Justice reigns from above. Woo-hoo! Fun fast star. Watch out for that sniper.
It's a new one I haven't heard from Ash. Oh no. I don't know, she whooped.
God.
Rivals Lazy, welcome to the stream. Rivals Lazy suggests if you're doing it with friends, try doing Far Mercy. Yeah, that would probably be a good way to do it.
The problem is that I'm an awful Mercy.
Well, and the other problem is that both Jats and Sonic ditched us for food. They'll be back soon, but for now, we're gonna have to deal with everyone dying. We're probably gonna lose this, to be honest. Oh, come on, that killed me.
I'm really hurt here.
Yeah, I basically killed myself that time.
Same. But not really.
There were mistakes.
On your feet.
I am the
Get
mistake.
back in the fight. I am hurt too badly.
But yeah, a healer like Mercy combined with Farah would be amazing for this, I agree. Curious actually determined that Hammond is really good for this mode too. Especially his ult. It's too bad my aim as Farah is rubbish.
Just shot the assassin out of midair and it was amazing. Just thought you should know that.
No one can.
Again?
From the stage. Fuck.
Oh no. I shouldn't have died there. Right on top of him.
Oh lord. Why are you really bad at this?
We're just gonna chill here.
No, no.
I feel like we're being carried by Roadhog. Oh no, Roadhog! No! Roadhog has to deal with the heavy assault. He's not gonna win this.
Honestly, I have a little bit of faith that he can at least res somebody. Nope, never mind.
Nope.
I take it back.
Yeah, no, that went badly. We didn't have a healer.
I did great though.
No.
I had the most damage on the specials. That's all I want.
What was the hotkey to take a screenshot in this game?
F12 by default, isn't it?
Take screenshot. Backslash, okay. And I'm also going to switch to 21:9 for a moment. And take another screenshot. I don't think it actually took a screenshot. Take screenshot. Oh well. Alright, let's go again. I might go Moira. Oh, we're going all supports.
Hell yeah, we are.
This guy really.
Fluffy Peanut. Why?
I'm isolating Maximilian's
I'm a fluffy
position.
peanut.
I'll have it in a
Wait,
few
what?
seconds. Maximilian's at the Don Rombotico distillery. Marking the position for you.
The power of destruction.
We should be able to keep each other alive this time.
Our enemies approach.
Yes. Very nice.
Get into position.
The only thing I don't like about Baptiste is that he doesn't have like a scope.
Yeah. I agree. But he's not really meant to be played that way anyway. So it's fine.
Speaking of scopes, I shot some of my actual guns today.
You lost track
And
of
I
Max when we
love
got inside.
rifles.
They
Pistols
sealed the place
suck.
up tight and our satellites are blind. Be ready for anything.
Yeah.
I'm just better with larger weapons.
They've deployed a sniper.
I see.
Sniper ahead.
Nah, you get more stability out of a rifle than you do a pistol.
Yeah, plus the pistols at my club is not the best.
These enforcers have very, very frustrating guns.
I need clear out the building and find Max. I'm opening
Beefy
the doors
shotguns.
now. Stay on your toes.
Try rally. The armor doesn't hang around, does it?
No. Because people were complaining too much.
Rocket barrage incoming.
That's what they get for being bitches.
Let them up.
This will
Hell yeah, Void Division. I'm absolutely going to the Melbourne Esports Open. It's going to be so good. I'm only going Sunday though, which is the Overwatch contenders.
They've locked down the distillery. Hang tight while I get you a way out. I show multiple Talon units converging on your position.
Yep, I bought it on Friday. And then of course on Monday is when they officially went on sale, and that's when I got like 3 codes that I could use to get a discount, including a 20% discount for going last year. But I had already paid for the ticket.
Get into position. Sniper on our radar.
I don't really have a favorite team, Void Division. I don't really follow it for the teams, more for the actual gameplay. League is on Saturday and then Overwatch is Sunday. Which it was the other way around last time.
Reinforcements
Overwatch
engaging.
doesn't matter as much anymore.
I don't know. Contenders has never really been a big thing anyway.
Contenders is good though.
Yeah. Much more variety in gameplay compared to Overwatch League anyway.
Yeah, because since everyone's not playing on the highest level, bloody, they can screw around.
And it's not all goats.
Is it still goats for pro at the moment?
Not anymore, or at least there's significantly less goats now. Because Stage 2 has the patch that balances stuff out. Like a lot more.
I haven't watched it in ages. I don't even know what happens in this game anymore.
That's fair.
My will made real. Surrender to my will.
Big guy coming in.
Absolutely, Void Division. And that's why I'm glad we have a Melbourne Esports Open, because what I definitely learned last time was that it's much more fun watching esports live like that, where they're on a stage and being there compared to just watching on a screen.
It looks like Max has barricaded himself in a seaport. There's a truck with explosives near your position.
I like how we now have a ladder on the payload. Aww.
Oh, I can't see that.
Greetings.
Get off my payload.
He tried to shoulder charge me.
Get in here.
What the fuck?
Watch out for that dropship.
I want to boot someone off the edge.
Not a lot of edges on this map.
Yeah, I didn't realize the one down here was so far away.
Yeah. I learned that our first playthrough.
Don't kill it.
Yeah, I know, tried to give you the opportunity.
I tried, it's not working very well.
Sniper! I see the sniper! Nail the sniper!
You have my thanks.
Assassin detected. She's on
I
you.
just rallied as well.
Surrender to my will.
And actually, oh no, it didn't hit from rally. Okay, I thought it did.
Yeah, you can combine them. Oh, where does this go? Ooh. Ooh.
You just ran around in a circle.
Yes.
Hello.
You get to see the coast of Havana here.
Yeah.
Good work. Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Love me some Cuba.
Hey guys! I like it how this room in here is a completely sealed room.
Yep, they just spawn in here. I guess that makes sense.
Of course.
They were just standing here the whole time.
Just waiting.
Impatiently waiting for us to reach this point.
I mean, it was very patient because I was like in front of the door.
They were like, we know he's there, but we have to wait.
It is not our time yet.
Hey, it's Tim. Hi, Tim.
My will made real.
Oh no!
Assassin's on you.
How you doing, Tim? Oh,
I can't die in here.
I will accept the rally. Ooh.
Get off me, woman.
She did no damage to you and then died.
I'm pretty sure you have to press space to get her off of you.
Button mash.
This is my will.
Or just stun her.
Yeah, stunning her is usually the way to go.
Oh, hello.
Let them up.
Work's been really good for me, Tim. Too bad it sucks for you.
Your strength ends.
I took out the head.
How'd you win an SSD Void Division? I wouldn't mind one.
All enemies eliminated. Get that truck going.
I love the way that looks. Who died? Someone died right at the end there.
The edge.
That's amazing.
Oh, I took the most damage.
A whole 4 stars. Nice.
Nice.
Apparently that was a very good combination. Who knew 3 supports was a good idea?
Everyone.
Am I close to a loot box yet? One or 2 games. And 2 more games here. Hi Boss Empire, welcome to the stream. Hope your day's going well. Overwatch bottle. Overwatch shirt. Overwatch beanie. Overwatch jacket. Yeah, right?
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's position. I'll have it in a few seconds. Maximilian's at the Don Rombatico distillery. Marking the position for you.
Yeah, it's a very nice jacket.
Your strength fades.
I wore it on my way to work on Monday because it was cold.
Oh, they actually shoot the turrets. That's not cool.
You don't want them to defend themselves?
No, they're meant to just die.
Prepare for enemy engagement.
And I'm gonna have to take my Minecraft mug and take it to work. Because I couldn't find any mugs at work today when I really needed tea at 3 PM because I was ready to pass out.
We lost track
Also,
of
Sim
Max
can only use
once we
3
got inside.
sentries at a time now?
They sealed the place up
Yep.
nice, our satellites are blind.
Was that
You
with
ready
the old
for
changes, or is that a new...
Yeah.
I pass this forth. There he goes.
My nose is really itchy today. I don't know why. I was yawning like non-stop this morning at work at like 10 o'clock. It was really bad. Oh god.
Whoops. I didn't even mean to kill her.
Clear out the building.
I don't think that's how the
Max.
game's supposed to be. I think you're supposed to be
I'm
killing
opening
her.
the doors now.
On purpose.
Oh, I
Stay
just...
on your toes.
Yeah, well, usually it's not how this works. Ah, I forgot how bullshit this hero is.
That sounds like a lot of fun, Void Division. Unfortunately, I would never be that good.
Something's happening. They've locked down the distillery. Hang tight while I get you a way out. I show multiple Talon units converging on your position.
Overcome all obstacles. Enemies coming for us.
Assassin detected. Tell me.
Hi, Assassin. How you doing?
Dare you. Come get me. Come get me. Aww.
Guys, you spawned before the smoke. That's not how it's supposed to work.
I just want the assassin to come get me.
Have you put up some barricades?
I'm standing in a triangle of turrets.
Oh look, they spawned out of another tiny room. Oh no, wait, this isn't a tiny room.
Larger?
From above.
They're prioritizing the turrets. I don't like that.
Hello, Curdle Stuff. Hope your day's going well.
They've deployed a sniper.
Another sniper?
Sniper ahead.
Ow!
I knew that was gonna happen.
I tried to hide.
This is on hard. Tim, there are two difficulties above this, and we're also playing all heroes, so we're not playing the heroes that the enemies were specifically balanced for. Nice placement on the turrets.
That's why I put them there.
This is my will.
We'll probably go back to like the proper story mode after this game.
Aww, I'm playing with random heroes.
Well, I want to at least play once as every hero tonight. Which is gonna suck as Genji,
It
but...
looks like Max has barricaded himself in a seaport. There's a truck with explosives near your position. You're gonna need them to get inside.
What the fuck?
Kidding.
No, I didn't realize what happened because I didn't see the ice ball. I just suddenly got like launched into the fucking roof.
Good.
Lunched into the roof?
I meant to say launched and like lurched. I don't know. Just oh fuck. I thought I could walk around that.
Let's finish this fight together.
Riley, I destroyed my turret already.
Curdle stuff, it's just twitch.tv/wizardcm.
Who just
It'll be popping up in the top right corner every now and then. I agree, the latency on Twitch is going to be 2 to 3 seconds.
Just on the outside over around here.
I'm really good though. I'm glad it's Wednesday. I'm glad it's a short week.
I cast this forth. Surrender to my will.
Damn it, I fell off.
Oh, why is BF5 going to be interesting tomorrow, Tim?
Oh, I found where the sniper turns off.
Because fun fact, Tim, Overwatch has a free weekend right now. You should join me. You know, just for a large number of games. Just this on repeat. Then we can see how easy you find this game mode.
Seems like the AI haven't worked out the barrier.
No, they're probably not they're probably not coded for it.
Touch from afar.
Oh god, assassin.
Well, Tim, the benefit of a fiber connection is uninstall a game that you don't play and install Overwatch. Overwatch is only like 20 or 25 gig.
She's coming for me, and she's gonna get zapped.
Compared to most games, it's teeny.
Assassin eliminated.
It worked. I love cheese heroes. Especially for stuff like this.
Then all you have to do, Tim, is uninstall one game.
I cast this forth.
And it's only for the weekend as well.
I'm under attack.
Good work. Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Welcome, Cuddle Stuff. Welcome to Twitch.
To have company. Your body decays.
Ow, that hurt.
There we go.
Dropship coming in. Get into position.
Cuddle Stuff, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the order. I don't know why it's not visible. Moxie alerts. We can refresh this.
Strength blows.
Oh, Jets is back.
They have an assassin.
Help me.
I will trigger an alert again so that it shows up on screen. Using my trusty second computer. Okay,
Why is
that's
she
what I was
chasing
concerned
me?
about.
Assassin's out of the picture. Assassin coming in.
Another one?
Yeah, it spawns about 4 in a row. There we go. That's visible.
Assassin's on you. Watch out.
I'm sure you'll find a 10 gig of stuff to move,
Heavy assault
Tim.
unit coming for us.
Ah. Empty your downloads folder, maybe.
Surrender to my will.
Ow, I feel sorry for that thing.
Success.
Oh.
Oh no.
All enemies eliminated. Get that
That's
truck
Curious
going.
out of time.
Hello?
Welcome back. You just missed Curious, whose internet disconnected because it's time. We will not be seeing her for the rest of the night. And damn it, I'm 400 away from leveling up. And no endorsements. So I can't get myself an easy 50 XP.
Oh look, I got McCree skin.
Mmm.
I got noodles.
Ooh.
Nice.
Curdle stuff's like Overwatch, but I'm being invaded by Genjis. Havana, Cuba. Let me guess, Sonic, you still don't have in-game music on.
No, I can hear this one.
Yeah, this one isn't part of the music. These cutscenes are pre-generated, which is why the frame rate's so low.
Oh, so I didn't even... What do you mean frame rate so low? I'm like 300, solid.
Yeah, the frame rate of the actual cutscene
Yeah,
looks to be 30 FPS.
Maximilian to show his face. It's now or never.
No pressure.
No, I do have music, it's just really quiet.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
I've got some new friends.
But, my master volume's only at 30 and then I've got my music down to 15, so it's quiet. It's pretty much
Yeah.
non-existent.
Go ahead.
There's
We're
always
going to
one
have
that
guests.
doesn't skip.
I wish we could ride Tracer's motorbike for real, though. Hello, gents, just kicks them in the face.
I want them to put it in the game somehow.
Yeah. Racing minigame.
If he reaches his safe house.
Then let's make sure he doesn't.
The drift around the corner in a floating car. That's not how any of this works.
Winston.
I'm on it.
Remember, we need Maximilian alive. He's our only
This game's all
complete
about
power.
accuracy.
Oh, yeah. Curdle stuff, I can tell the difference only if I'm looking for it. And only if I have been looking at a different frame rate up until that point. So if I'm just watching a 30 FPS stream, I won't notice that it's 30 FPS. But if I start watching a 60 FPS stream, I can immediately notice the difference. Or in this case, I've been playing the game in 60 FPS and then the cutscenes are 30, I can tell. But if it was just the cutscenes on their own, probably not.
Yeah, but something like this, you can't really run much higher, otherwise it
Don't worry,
looks weird.
you won't get far on foot.
True. And that's probably the reason why they do it. It's cinematic 24 FPS or something like that, right?
Yeah. And I've never really understood that, but I have seen some things like, you know, just like even just like a vlog or something at like, you know, at like 60 or something, and it does just look weird.
Yes.
Excuse me?
Wiz wants to go around and get play each hero once.
Yep.
So
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's position. I'll have it in a
weird
few
seeing
seconds.
Wiz play Mercy.
Understood, Captain. Team, let's get
I was
out
gonna
there.
say as well, the moment that Mercy
We
grabs
found
Genji's
Maximilian.
hand,
He's at the Don Rombatical
all the
facility.
shippers scream.
Try and keep the damage.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm already gonna be up all night writing the report for this one.
Sorry about that.
Don't let up on them.
Excuse me.
Hostile forces incoming. Where does it all? I could use some assistance. Oh. Dropship inbound! Damage boost engaged.
Interesting how they made the AI target healers.
Yeah.
Soldier, does it seem like Maximilian had more muscle with him than we were expecting?
Ever since this new Doomfist appeared on the scene, he's been taking a more active hand in Talon's business. I'm guessing that has something to do with it.
Don't stop now. You should watch for that sniper. Heroes never die.
You lost track of Max once he got inside. They've sealed the place up tight and our satellites are blind. Be ready
They kind
for
of just
anything.
roll for no
More
reason.
surprising. Lovely.
What, sorry?
The AI.
Damage boost engaged.
Yeah.
They've made me miss shots because of it.
See ya, Curdle Stuff. Thanks for stopping by.
We're outside the distillery, Captain.
Clear out the building and find Max. I'm opening the doors now. Stay on your toes.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
That's the spirit.
Why isn't that a voice line?
Healing stream engaged.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been so easy.
We make a great team. Damage increase.
Hi, Pearly. Hope your day's going well.
What was that?
That was garbled.
Sojourn?
Yeah. Grumble.
Ich bin da.
That's great.
It's an ambush.
Oh shit,
The enemy
Mercy.
approaches.
Watch out for an enemy assassin. You should be a
Yeah, when you know where she's gonna come from, these assassins pretty easy to take down.
Oh, come
Yeah.
Let me get you patched up.
Alright, we're good.
You wanted to be the one to kill the
yeah.
That's awesome to hear, Pearly.
I'm taking
Enjoying it?
care of you.
Do you think Maximilian will talk?
He just deals with everyone. Intelligence thinks he'll be motivated to negotiate.
Yeah, what does that mean?
He'll talk.
You need
They
a
are
doctor.
above us.
Damage increase. Don't let up on them.
Get ready. Units engaging.
Heroes never die.
My spirit grows strong.
Very rough.
You've got this. Sniper engaging.
Oh no. Jets.
No,
Tracer's
the
down.
sniper.
Someone revive her.
Oh no. Oh no.
I found the sweet spot, I can get both of you.
Nice.
Lucky you have a shield. Good lord.
Mercy for the righteous team.
Bitch.
Behind you.
I'm taking care of you.
What do you think will happen if we can't get Max?
They've been threatening to reassign the entire operation.
Morrison and Reyes have been arguing about it quite a bit lately.
Let's get you back out
What
there.
about the strike team?
It might be the end of the line for us too.
Come on, where's the big guy? Oh,
Healing
wait.
stream engaged.
There he is.
There he is.
We make a great team.
Wow, the possum doesn't do a lot to him.
I know.
Have you seen how much health the guy has? Got another pulse bomb already, jeez.
Yeah.
You get his tickly bits, yeah.
Heroes never die.
We're back online. Is everyone all right?
Sojourn, give me some good news.
We've tracked Max to the Seaford. You're gonna need something to blow the doors.
How about a truck filled with explosives?
Someone say.
That would work.
Then we're all set.
There's a truck with explosives just lying around.
Yep.
Sure is.
Well then, proceed.
See, it needs to be yep.
Yep.
It just suits Tracer's character so much more.
Doesn't
It does.
You know how Doomfist has been shaking up the Talon hierarchy? They've started to make some mistakes because of it.
good for us then?
Not unless we catch him.
Oh, let's go behind.
I've got you.
Oh god. Regrets. I tried to go over to you, Sonic.
Sonic, you're so close to going off the edge.
I'm taking care of you.
I know.
Enemy dropship incoming!
Damage boost engaged. We needed a doctor. Don't stop now. Powered up. Let's get you back out there. I could use some assistance.
Get ready.
Be careful. They've dispatched a sniper. Sharp, push down.
Oh, what? She's over there this time?
Oh, I'm taking care.
Well, they gotta randomize it a little.
Get back here, bitch. I want to knock you off the edge. What the fuck?
Heroes never
Damn it,
die.
I want to knock her off the edge.
Damage amplified.
Damage output increased.
You needed a doctor? Damage increased.
One of the assassins is here.
Mercy in the Reichsdienst. You should be at peak performance levels. Let me get you patched up.
I'm very good with my pulse bombs.
Assassins on you! Healing stream engaged. Don't stop now.
Oh no! Assassin, please get off!
Oh, okay, I can't actually move the assassin.
What are you playing on? Expert.
Hard.
That scared me. Hello, Verdon.
Hi, Jess. How are you, love?
I thought I'm good. I thought that I was your stream, and I'm like, but like, how am I gonna hear?
Damage amplified.
Long time.
And
Heilstrahl
I
activated.
got Odyssey for 47 with the season pass, so I've
ready
just
to
been like
take off.
stuck in that.
Time to hurry it up, team.
Oh, nice.
Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Clear the way. We're running out of time.
Sonic.
We got
Heroes never die.
The best part, the best part, Darren, is look at what room they spawned in.
Reinforcements flying in.
Like, there's nothing in there.
No. I mean, it's better than Uprising, because, you know, Uprising, they just come out of nowhere.
Well, some of these spawn, like, before the smoke that's supposed to signal their arrival. So they just blink in and then the smoke appears afterwards.
I just did Uprising on Expert, and that was hell. That was utter hell.
Hmm.
Sniper engaging.
Oh, they've got a sniper.
Uprising had its difficulty balanced really well.
We have an ally down. Healing stream engaged.
Like, I was
Be
watching the
careful,
dev
they've
update,
dispatched
Jeff
a
was like, we
sniper.
turned the heavies down, because they were really strong last time.
Damage increased.
Sniper
Let me
down.
get you patched up.
Oh.
Tracer's down. Someone
That
revive
was
her.
impressive.
Come on, we still need
There's a
Uh-oh.
heavy assault unit here.
Technically, that should have died. I tried, like, probably 300-400 kill him, and it just landed on the Swedish.
Yeah.
Where does it hurt?
There we go.
Everyone played as everyone.
That's it for talent.
No, I still have to play as Genji.
Doors open.
Arming the truck.
I love how fast it flies forward. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and from this angle it looks really good too.
Yeah.
Going somewhere, Max?
Is this really necessary? Surely we can make some kind of deal.
You are in no position to negotiate.
You're coming with us.
We know all
Oh my
about
God.
you and your associates.
Oh, I have many associates. Perhaps
It's so
not
good when she's
clear
trying to
what
be
I
like
have to offer.
menacing.
My resources are quite
No.
substantial. Let me ask, what might you be in the market for?
An introduction.
Ah, and who is it you would like to meet?
My
The bit just below his bit.
doesn't understand.
Well, so the interesting thing...
is like clipping in the bits on the side of his neck.
Yeah. The funny thing that people were commenting about this particular scene is a face reveal doesn't mean much if the face doesn't mean anything to the person watching.
That can change.
Yeah, it doesn't even give you an idea. You know, like,
Right, like we have no idea who this is. So why the face reveal? It's just an evil Omnic.
Because people will start speculating and pulling something out of nothing, like
Yeah.
they always do. Although a lot of the time they still get that right. Wow. I took so much damage.
Talent tank. Talent tank. He doesn't look very tanky, but...
And that gives me 2 loot boxes to open.
Oh, the next game is my next one.
History was forged by the sword.
So far, I've done doing Uprising on Expert, doing all heroes on hard, doing the normal mode on hard, doing the 8 different heroes and the 4 different heroes. Complete Uprising on Legendary or die.
I got another legendary that is not event-based.
All I've gotten is blues and whites, and I'm like...
Yeah, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to buy some voice lines, so give me a moment.
And here's me, fucking. I've opened 3 boxes and I've already gotten Moira's and McCree's skin.
That from my mother. I put my faith.
I really hope that McCree's little bowler hat is the bowler hat that Bob
Lieutenant
gets.
Augustine, reporting for duty. Pour Coalition Caraïbe Blanc. I don't really do associate.
Mind your
Not the same,
manners.
unfortunately.
No, but I'm disappointed that he doesn't get like a bowler hat.
Okay, that puts me at 8,700 credits.
I had 10k exactly last night and I forgot to take a photo of it. And I was like, no!
Okay. So I'm playing Genji this time, which is gonna suck.
I want to play
Watching
Winston.
this the first time, ugh.
This is gonna be good.
You want to be Tracer. Okay, cool.
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's
I think my favorite part of
I'll have it
that
in 2
intro
seconds.
is just like when Mercy flies past, she's like, I'm a giant light! And then
Yeah.
she picks Genji up.
We found Maximilian. He's at the Dawn Room.
I'm a fan of Tracer kicking one of the bad guys in the face and then falling off the truck.
Up all night writing the report for this one.
Sorry about that.
Watch that sky.
Oh no!
No, what happened? Where'd you go?
Shot in the face by an enforcer.
That was me. And mine was a random spike.
The wind is picking up. It's hard to stay airborne.
There's a hurricane moving in from the east. You're going to have to catch Max before the storm catches you.
Keep your eyes out for the sniper.
Watch for the sniper. Back at you. Sniper eliminated.
That roll.
Clear out the building and
That
find
roll
Max.
just like
I'm
does
opening
not
the
go
doors
far.
now. Stay on your toes.
I mean, a real life roll wouldn't either.
That's the spirit.
They should have just copied the animation from McCree.
Maybe.
Oh no, the shotgun. There's people behind us, by the way.
I got you.
You okay? Get back in the fight.
Hello, some heals would be nice.
What was that? Sojourn? Ugh, links down.
that cheeky was very nicely snuck in.
Sorry I'm late.
I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, no kidding.
What? I so thought she was going view burden. What the hell
She
was
was,
that?
and then I blinked.
Heroes never die.
I have no idea how to control Winston's ult.
They've been threatening to reassign the
Yeah, you don't really control it.
Have been arguing about it quite
Primal Rage or his leaps.
Primal Rage.
might be the end of the line for us too.
If you look down, he jumps shorter.
What's the
If you
feeling?
hold back when you jump, he jumps shorter. Triple! I've been trying to learn how to juggle people with it. We're...
Oh god.
Oh, there goes my ping.
I'm gonna die! There it is.
The battle continues.
You've rescued me again, Dr. Ziegler.
They've got a sniper. Sniper.
Sniper ahead!
I got it. Oh, we all got it. Oh.
Yep, we're all up here.
I was just running from the other one.
See her. Where did she go?
Behind you.
Someone's focused on the sniper.
And let's dash back.
It's so hot here. I think I'm wilting.
I told you to stay hydrated.
That's a very British thing to say. That's amazing.
This will protect us.
There's a heavy assault unit here.
Heroes never die.
My spirit grows strong. It's not your day to die. Yujin no Keioku! Heavy assault unit eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's everywhere.
We're back online. Is everyone all right?
Sojourn, give me some good news.
We've tracked Max to the Seaford. You're gonna need something to blow the doors.
How about a truck filled with explosives?
That would work.
Then we're all set.
There's a truck with explosives just lying around.
Sure is.
Well then, proceed.
The storm is getting worse.
There's a hurricane coming in from the coast. Be careful, team.
Look at the cart.
What about it?
Weird physics. Is the
Oh
spray.
my god, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I found that out last game.
That's amazing. What is it doing?
What you looking at?
Reinforcements flying in.
Fuck him off!
Downside is this payload doesn't heal you.
No. Mind you, there's enough space in this bloody map to go hide and heal.
Yeah.
The enemy approaches.
I'll take it. Ping again.
Back at you.
Oh!
Oh god! No, no! I thought I was behind the payload.
Sniper down.
Arigato. My blade is ready to be unleashed.
Rude.
One of the assassins is here.
Oh, assassin!
Fudged it! Somehow.
She's gonna get an issue.
Taking casualties.
Enforcer killed himself.
Some assassin.
I'm taking care of C4 doors in sight, Captain.
Max is getting ready to take off. Time to hurry it up,
C4.
team.
You'll
Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Talon troops incoming.
Enemy reinforcements detected.
Dropship inbound.
I'm a terrible Genji. I'm not getting any shots off.
Die, 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 die!
Oh.
Keep your eyes out for the sniper. Be careful. It's a distraction sniper.
That trooper just glitched into the wall behind him.
I wonder where the
Are they
sniper.
Sniper down.
Damn it,
He
I
was
was
literally
sitting
on
on.
top.
I know. It's kind of the plan.
Sniper.
And then she moved.
Yeah. That is fine. Oh, here we go.
Where are you going?
Not getting any hit on someone.
No! Why would you do this?
Let's get you back in the fight.
You rescued me again, Dr.
Heavy team limit.
Nice kill.
That's it for Talon.
I love how they
that truck
spaz out
and
when
get
you
those
shoot them
doors
sometimes, and they just like jiggle, and they're like, Quick, I'm gonna drop the bomb.
Hey!
Going somewhere, Max?
Is this really necessary?
Yes, yes it is. I like that we go to Egypt of all places. Egypt.
I shall be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, box. find something good. God damn it. Summer's such a bitch. I'd love to stay in chat, but I'm not going to. I'd love to say it was nice working with you, but it wasn't.
I'm back.
Random big requirements. Summer's such a bitch, man.
Oh.
I'd love to say it was nice working with you, but it wasn't.
That one's really good. So is
Somebody fetch my
Ash's Fetch My Butler.
Yeah, I got that one. Somebody fetch my...
Every day is a new adventure.
I learned that from my mother. Who knows what the future holds?
I have the distinct feeling that I'm needed somewhere.
Mercy's voice line is really good.
Every day is a
Has
new
everyone played
adventure.
everyone now?
Nah, I still gotta play Tracer.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm already Tracer.
Everyone's ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need to be Genji and then I've done all 4.
But yeah, Sonic, watch the frame rate during this initial bit. Right there. Like, that's a very clear cinematic 24 FPS.
So pretty.
Mine took a while to load. The stream was showing the starting of the thing.
Really?
Mine started.
That's funny.
Sojourn here.
I mean, that's like a 2-second delay. So...
Nah, for me it's always like 10. No matter what I do, your stream's always delayed by about 10.
Let's go, Kitty Winks.
Really?
He's at the Don Rombotico distillery.
Yeah, I don't know
Try
why.
and keep the damage to a minimum. I'm already
Try and keep the damage to a minimum. Eh, that's not gonna happen.
Sorry about that.
Obviously you haven't met us.
This will protect us.
Get in there, Matt.
Now that's teamwork coming through.
So reason they don't
Stop.
shoot you.
Reinhardt, isn't she?
I feel a little nervous.
It's the worst with Baptiste, because they don't shoot the immortality field.
Huh.
What happened to you?
I got insta-killed by a thingy. I actually thought I was going to get blown up, but I don't think I had enough blinks to get out of my...
Yep, that'll happen.
Yeah,
Nah, but I got killed before my bomb went off, unfortunately.
Ah!
Pop your head out.
Sniper eliminated.
We're outside the distillery, Captain.
Clear out the building and find Max.
People on the left
I'm
side
opening
when
the
we go
doors
through,
now.
and people
Stay
on
on
the
your toes.
Hiya. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
That's the spirit.
I landed on a trooper and killed him.
Pardon me.
Die.
What was that?
Sojourn?
Links down.
Hi.
Probability of ambush. Hi.
Shut up, Winston.
But he's right.
Watch out for an enemy assassin.
That assassin's gonna die before she gets any damage off. See?
Almost.
Weapon system.
No, she didn't actually damage me.
Whoa, that was almost all your health.
He just deals with the money. Intelligence thinks he'll be motivated to negotiate.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I love how she says that.
They're coming in from above. Here comes more of them.
Now that's teamwork.
Hello again, Pearly. You've caught us about halfway through the mission.
Keep your eyes out for the sniper.
Sniper eliminated.
Unfortunate.
Ooh.
I could use some healing. What do you think will happen if we can't get Max?
They've been threatening to reassign
Oh.
the entire operation.
Did you
Morrison and
see
Grace
that
have
just
been
then?
arguing about it quite a bit lately.
What about the strike team?
The guy rolled up the
Might be the
stairs
end of
and
the
then
line for us too.
disappeared into the stairs.
My favorite is in King's Row, where's that small gap between like the floor and the giant pit. People's bodies can slip through that.
Heroes never die. I'm taking care.
I like how he pinned me but didn't actually send me anywhere.
Oof, I
I'm
thought
really
I could recall
hurt.
one. Funny you say that and then Tracy says the exact same thing.
Mercy to save the day!
Heavy assault unit neutralized.
Unfortunate.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that kind of burst damage to... Well, I thought I'd be able to react and recall in time. But no, I'm way too out of practice to be doing shit like that.
Is everyone
Yeah,
alright?
Pearly, new event started this morning.
We've tracked Max to the seafort. You're gonna need something to blow the doors.
How about a truck filled with explosives?
That would
She
work.
sounds so excited when she says that.
There's a truck with explosives.
That's so Tracer though.
Well then.
She's just really happy that it's convenient and right now.
And Sojourn's like, okay.
You know how Doomfist has been shaking up the Talon hierarchy? They've started to make some mistakes because of it.
Well, Pearly, now is the time to play.
Unless we catch 'em.
4-player PvE.
Okay, that still hit me.
Barrier activated.
Got how dodgy Tracer's play sometimes.
Yeah, I hate that Blink doesn't give you like some small invincibility frames.
Oh, trust me, Pearly, it's very entertaining.
That's teamwork. Survival of the fittest.
And if you haven't played them before, there are 3 storylines.
Die, 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 die.
From different parts of Overwatch's history.
Here I am playing her really aggressively.
Yeah.
Anyway, play Mercy.
Combat medic!
I'm not too dangerous with Mercy.
This will protect us. Pardon me.
It's just like the payload. Kill everything first, then push.
Yeah. I mean, they designed it that way.
Assassin detected.
Oh, that's your job.
There's an assassin here.
Punch her!
Revive us!
Barrier active.
Play it once. Get the loot box. And then, put it away for a year. Aha. I like how they have barriers here exactly where the payload is supposed to stop. Like they knew we were coming.
Time to hurry it up, team. Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Talon troops incoming.
I'd like to steal some of these guns. They're gonna be better than this thing.
Damage output increase.
Hey, Tesla can't do it.
Only if I'm being damage boosted by Darren.
Why do you think when I played Mercy all I did was pretty much damage boost the Winston?
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a whole chunk of them, you just damage boost with them.
Even when there isn't a chunk of them, you still damage boost Winston.
Die. Now I'm an angel of death.
Barrier active.
Sniper.
Team.
What?
Jets, how?
Come on, we still need you.
You knocked her off and she still shot me.
Oh no.
And this is where I run away.
I pressed the button and everything. Cheers.
He only shoots
Exactly,
my
Pearly.
reflex on cooldown.
There we go.
How long does Pulse One take to blow up after you throw it again?
Someone arm that truck.
3 seconds? Might be 2 point something.
Damn it, way too early. I wanted to try and kind of blow it up as I hit it.
Yeah.
Going
somewhere, Max.
Is this really necessary? Surely we can make some kind of deal.
You are in no
Oh,
position
that's
to
me for the night.
negotiate.
You're
Catch you
coming
guys
with
later.
us.
No worries, thanks for playing.
We know all about
Boy.
you and your associates.
Oh, I have many associates. Perhaps it's not clear what I have to offer. My resources are quite substantial. Let me ask, what might you be in the market for?
An introduction.
Ah, and who is it you would like to meet?
I don't want to stereotype because she's Swiss, but she'd make a very good villain.
Mm-hmm, she would.
The world
Her face,
doesn't understand visionaries like us.
like voice, just
I respect what you are trying to accomplish. You
I was
fight
watching
for
a Michelle Gomez interview the other day, Matt, with Sabrina. She's like, luckily I've been blessed with this face to be a bitch and to be evil. She's like, I've cornered the market unlikable villains.
Yep. It's true though.
It is. It's funny. It made me laugh.
No, we only got 3.5 stars.
It's probably our deaths, yeah, our survival bonus.
Mm-hmm. Alright, now we've played a bit of every hero, let's do all heroes, yeah? Actually, I want to quickly check
Hold on,
my
I got
friends
looked.
leaderboard. Yeah. Oh yeah, Navia's very high on the list. Panda's very high on the list. Millen's relatively high on the list. We are on page 2 on mine. Numbers 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh no, Darren, you're number 11 on my friends list.
Because all I've done is hard. I haven't done expert yet.
Yeah. What's the lowest score someone has? 7,000 on easy. As Tracer. Ready to go?
Yeah. I recommend not dying.
I'm gonna try Baptiste. This event, Pearly, is called Storm Rising?
Rising.
Storm Rising.
Storm Rising. Of which they've animated very well. The actual storm.
Sojourn here.
Yes.
I'm isolating Maximilian's position. I'll have it in a few seconds. Maximilian to the Don Robotico distillery. Marking the position for you.
Hello, gentlemen. You just brute him
Here
into
comes
me.
more of them.
Good job, Farah.
Regen up.
Oh wait, do we?
Farah's gonna be a problem for me.
We lost track of Max once he got inside. They've sealed the place up tight and our satellites are blind. Be ready for anything.
Keep that assassin in your sights. Enemy dropship coming in.
Nice.
See if we get to get away.
Clear out the building and find Max. I'm opening the doors now. Stay on your toes.
You and me? We've got this.
Something's happening.
We've got this made in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
They've locked down the distillery. Hang tight while I get you a way out. I show multiple Talon units converging on your position.
Watch your head. Get in here. We've got company. Get in the immortality field. Sniper!
Is that a
Watch for that sniper!
Yep. I don't know, they have a lot of grunts, Pearly. Talon are a pretty boring enemy in this event.
Enemy incoming! Keep your eyes open for that assassin. Get in here. She's on you.
Incoming.
That works.
Well, that's all
That's
good.
as good as you.
You need to heal yourself.
They're dropping from the ceiling. Get in here. Talon
Is
heavy
it down
assault
there
unit.
this time?
Yeah, it's usually down there.
You wanna pop me down? You wanna come here, Matt, and pop down here? I think in front of me.
Let them up.
You and me?
Die! Oh no! Oh, it's fine. See, they don't shoot the drone. That's why Baptiste is so good at this.
It looks like Max has barricaded himself in a
Yeah,
safe
Pearly, but we shouldn't be able to kill them all so easily.
position. You're gonna need them to get inside.
It's typical bad guy. Big in numbers, not big on smarts.
I love that they're supposed to be an elite mercenary organization. I'm like, the 6 people in the organization are elite mercenaries.
Yeah.
Say hello to my
Enemy
little
dropship
friend.
inbound.
I still wish you could destroy the dropships.
Get in here.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
No, it pushed me off.
Oh, I didn't know there was a little room in there.
We've got company.
Someone's upstairs.
Sniper.
Activating self-destruct sequence. All systems checked out. I'll show them.
Look, it's just like normal
Let them
birds.
out.
They come out one by one.
Yeah.
Instead of grouping up.
Keep that assassin in your sights. Regen burst activated.
She's coming for you, Jax.
Oh,
She ran
no.
straight past me.
Get in here.
Where is she now?
She's around.
She was trying to chase the Pharaoh, which was weird.
Good work. Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Darren, take a look at this. It's perfect.
Dropship coming in. Get in here.
Where did you go, Leva?
Keep your eyes open for that assassin. She's on you.
Oh no.
One down. Keep that assassin in your sights.
Come on. Life's not over yet.
Is there another assassin?
Yeah, they spawn 2 or 3. It does, Pearly. Oh no! Enforcer just popped up behind me.
Big guy coming in. Let him up.
Matt, help me full of healing.
Activating self-destruct sequence. Suit
I
up.
took out the heavy.
Oh no, we took out the heavy before the default went off.
Body.
Good work.
I tried to body
All
block you.
enemies
Oh,
eliminated.
but I didn't.
Get that truck going.
Get back out there.
From that angle, it looks great.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh man.
100 kills exactly. I feel like Baptiste has then Orisa and like Bastion would be good for legendary.
And Hammond, because you can charge his ult very quickly against these bots. Alright, I can do one more. And I want to play Ashe. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We will need at least one support. That's alright, Pearly. Every minute counts.
Sojourn here. I'm isolating Maximilian's position. I'll have it in a few seconds. Maximilian's at the Don Rombatico distillery. Marking the position for you.
Keep on your toes, we got company!
Enemies are arriving on that dropship.
Oh, I'm coming.
I need healing. Woo.
Thank you, kind.
We lost track of Max once he got inside. They sealed the place up tight and our satellites are flying. Be ready for anything.
Somebody get him
Everyone
back
can go away. Try not gonna die.
Someone put a bullet on that sniper!
Clear out the building and find Max. I'm opening the doors now. Stay on your toes.
Smoke him out of there.
They have the oddly shaped head of being perfect for a roadhog like clock shot. Like his right hook,
They've
right
locked down the
click
distillery.
always.
Hang tight while I get you a way out. I show multiple Talon units converging on your position.
They're dropping in from the ceiling. Bob, do something. Woo-hoo! Fun's about to start.
Say hello to my little Bob.
Watch out, sniper deployed!
A sniper emerges. The sniper is no more.
That's all there is. There isn't anymore.
Thank you. Here it comes.
The forces of our enemy engage.
Where are you, Verdant?
Keep your head up.
I'll do my own thing. Because apparently, you know, got where is it?
Smoke him out of there.
She has been dealt with.
My aim's terrible. Why I'm so quiet, I'm trying to aim.
Heavy assault here!
Bob, do something.
Nothingness.
Watch your back.
Nice.
Poor McCree just standing there like, what am I gonna do?
Nah, Pearly, my aim as Ash is bad in general.
It looks like Max has barricaded himself in a seaport. There's a truck with explosives near your position. You're gonna need them to get inside.
The best and worst thing about the heavies is like, because they don't get knocked around by CC, all of whole Hulk just goes into them.
Yeah.
They have brought the sniper. She's on
I wasn't ready for the second sniper.
Someone stop this. Assassin's
Oh.
Good work. Here it comes. Clear out the area, then blow the door.
Buckle up, enemies engaged.
Bob, do something!
Dropship incoming.
Bob didn't land where I wanted him to land. But that's fine. Oh no. The assassin got me. I didn't even realize she was stalking me.
I got the assassin. Nothing to worry about.
The presence of an assassin.
I got the assassin, there's nothing to worry about. I sense the presence of an assassin.
Oh, almost.
That would have been hilarious. So close yet so far.
Good work. All enemies eliminated. Get that truck going.
That is amazing to watch. From that angle.
I really wish they'd go back and do an animated intro for Uprising.
Mm-hmm. Would be nice. But they did say that they have plans to release a much requested feature next month, so I'm keeping an eye out for that.
Oh look, we got 4 stars.
Mmm. I'm glad. Still not enough for a loot box. Probably another 2 games for that.
I got halfway.
Where does that put me on the leaderboard? Of course, Panda's at the very top of my list. You're number 15, Sonic's number 16, I'm number 17, Curious is number 18, Jats is number 19.
Oh, heck yes.
Alright guys, thanks for joining me for some games. I'm gonna head off and probably go straight to bed.
Talk to you later.
Definitely. See ya.
Bye.
Alright, that's gonna be the end of stream for today. I do have a Sea of Thieves stream planned with 2 friends coming up very soon. We don't have a specific date for it yet, but should be really good whenever we do end up doing it. Because we want to start doing some of the newer event stuff. And not to mention, a new Sea of Thieves update comes out at the end of the month with fishing included, which should be really good. Other than that, if you don't already, follow me on Twitter at WizardCM. If you haven't joined my Discord already, the address is wizardly, wzd.li/chat. That will take you straight to my Discord. That's wzd.li/chat. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!